Hey, shout out to my man Shawn. He let him know at Fox. Everything will be dropped on the Porterweight podcast.
Yeah. That was solid.
Hey, I got you. Love. Don't leave me that way.
I might as well. You know.
Oh, that was funny.
Man, listen, it was our first time at the Fox lot in quite a minute, man. More than a year, or just about that. Yeah, more than a year, and it was exciting. I mean, saw everybody I used to work. Well, most of the people I used to work with that does the production side of things. I mean, I'm talking about camera crew and all that.
Yeah.
If you don't know and know by now that I love this stuff, understand that I'm kind of geeky when it comes to this. So I hang out in like the trailer trucks before we go on air. I come in early so I could
just absorb it.
I absorb it.
Yeah,
And I've been
like a
doing
dream
that
come
since
true, huh?
I've been doing it since day one.
Yeah.
Since I started doing this side of it. And and I absolutely love it. So it was our first time being at the Fox lot in a minute. Keith Thurman made a
short hair
appearance.
Keith. Short hair Keith, a different guy. He got a different vibe to him.
He got the old man hair now. They got that old man texture.
Yeah, and hairline's going back.
I wasn't talking about the hairline.
It's going back just a
I wasn't talking about the hairline, but
that
texture.
Yeah, because
I
mean, we know him as Ponytail Keith for eternity.
I aspire to get that texture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, so I only have that texture as soon as I pull a braid.
I don't know what.
Hey, does he have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got he wake up like that.
I don't know what Virgil Hunter would do now if they were to come to blows, because his
what did he say back in the day?
He was gonna grab his ponytail and F him up that way. So Virgil Hunter's out of luck.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
I told Keith, look, first of all, let me say this. Keith and I had a cool time today at Fox. Shout out to Keith Thurman. That's my dude. I told him today, I said, yo, this podcast, we're gonna probably start this podcast talking about you. I didn't know his entire family is from Ohio.
I knew vaguely that there was an Ohio connection, but I also did not know that.
I thought it was just his dad.
Okay.
And
whole family, whole crew.
Both sides of his family are from Ohio. So he says he was conceived in Ohio, but he was born in Florida. So of course we do the back and forth. So
of course.
You're from Cleveland.
Yeah.
You're from Cleveland. So anybody that thinks the world of Keith, that thinks he's got skills, he's talented, Ohio blood.
Yeah, obviously.
Family from Painesville.
Hey, we don't make the rules.
No, we don't make the rules. We just follow them.
Hey, the pound for pound guy's not from Ohio.
Who that?
Canelo.
Oh, okay.
Technically, he wears Akron on his trunks. I know it's not the city, but...
And then number 2,
he do.
Earl, he ain't from Ohio.
Number 2, what? Pound for pound?
He's up in there.
Oh, okay. We won't get into that.
We can do the top 5. Nobody from Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to do the top 5, then y'all want to kill it.
All right,
Be
cool.
So, yeah, good time.
Anyway.
Hold on. And the top 5 of greatest all time, is anybody from Ohio?
Uh-huh.
Top 5 greatest of all time in boxing.
I'm telling you, we could find some blood. We'll find it. We'll find it.
I know.
Sean going through his mental Rolodex right now.
Muhammad Ali, Louisville's like what? 30 minutes from Cincinnati.
No, 30. That's kind of nothing.
What water was he drinking?
Yeah.
We go
Ohio River.
Matter of fact, we're gonna end up taking you, your son, and Floyd Mayweather as for Vegas, because hey, I'm from Louisiana, but hey, I'm from Vegas. Me, I gave up. I gave up my hometown.
Ain't happening.
You're gonna make me search some names right now.
Yeah. I know.
Archie Moore and
Jack Johnson.
Aaron Pryor.
Jack Johnson was from East Side Cleveland.
Yeah.
That
was
he?
Funny. No, that would be funny.
Somebody go say it.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess everything. I feel like everything we don't say or don't know.
Somebody gets
doesn't end up in the.
That's what they're there for.
They want us to say everything.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. Because a lot of times, I mean, we're just talking, and so somebody be like, you technically missed this, and it's like, okay, that's fine.
I feel when I bring up something, and then as I start going into it, I realize that I only know 50% of it. Yeah. I'll be like, in my head, I'll be like, damn.
Yeah, it happens.
You can't top this off, man, and somebody gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
somebody got something the other day. It was Arthur Abraham,
not Carl Froch.
Not Carl Froch. And like I said, I knew it wasn't.
And you
Carl.
said at the time, like, I don't want to put dirt on anybody's name.
Yeah, but I knew. And then of course, as I was saying, I was like, somebody gonna get this in the.
Yeah, I can't prepare my 154 knowledge today. In honor of Charlo Castano.
I think we have something for that.
Okay. Yeah,
let's go back to your day at Fox.
I came a little correct.
So you saw Keith.
Yeah.
Kate Abdo, the legend.
Yeah.
The God.
Yeah.
Who?
Kate Abdo.
She's a God.
And then what you say?
The God.
The God.
Yeah.
The
The God.
Yeah, that's
GAWD.
Blasphemous.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Oh, is that?
the Guope.
Yeah.
Turn it into Mike's women. So.
Yeah, she's the best.
Oh yeah, no, she is. And she handled it fantastically.
Hey, y'all, it's like y'all never didn't mix a beat.
Listen.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, no, and we keep up through text. She's been there from day one to help, and
Keith's pretty natural too.
Keith did his thing today.
Yeah, he's pretty natural.
texted
And
him
he hasn't
when we
done
were
it a ton either.
Yeah, I texted him we were done. I'm like, yo, good job today. You know what I mean?
I'll see you in the fall. And I'll see you in the fall.
We'll
get to it. We'll get to it. You'll get to it.
Yeah. We talked. We talked. So at the end of the day, it was a good day at Fox. I thought that Manny and Errol both handled themselves professionally. I got in the car with my dad. He picked me up from the airport, and he said, "What'd you think about the press conference?" I said, "Well, Manny talked a lot more than I expected him to." He said, "Yeah, he did. He had more English to come with than normal." So I just thought that everybody handled everything accordingly.
I think he had that Floyd line. I think he had that in the tuck.
Which one? He's a great fighter.
No, when he said that Errol was better than Floyd.
Oh,
he
yeah.
kind of interrupted Heidi to get that line off.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like he was waiting for it. I was like, yeah, I think Errol's better than Floyd.
Errol can't touch
Sat
it.
back, but
And they came back to us with that, and they said, "Hey, listen, if Manny beats
Errol.
does that make him better than Floyd?" I mean, I think that it's such a long. You got to look at everything straight up and down. But I
I
just
can't
think
do that because head to head, he didn't beat Floyd.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
To me,
I hear you, and I hear you, and I'm with you. But I do know, like with Sugar Ray Leonard,
man, you ain't.
huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know. Like with Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran, that most experts, respected guys who really knew their boxing, the Burt Sugars and whatever, they had Roberto Duran rated higher than Sugar Ray Leonard all time. Because they took into account, kind of like Pacquiao and Mayweather, that one. And Max Kellerman has like a famous video on YouTube about this. But, one guy was naturally smaller. And so when you're talking about who's pound for pound better, that has to be taken into account. And then, some guys, styles make fights. Floyd beat Manny, head to head. But if you look at their resumes in total, it's close. And if Manny beats Spence, then I have no problem with someone who thinks Manny's greater. I'll probably still lean on the side. I got Floyd Mayweather is ahead of Manny, but it's not crazy.
Just a hell of a resume.
And head to head don't cancel it out.
Both amazing resumes and very different resumes. Like
right.
I mean, like you said, Pacquiao, what did he start? 105.
Yeah.
Like he started off comes up 8 division world champion, and then Floyd, like. I think both of their resumes, outside of maybe 3 or 4 fights, are like unimpeachable. Like you can't argue with who these guys have if you run down that list. So I get what you said, where it's like, if Manny beats Errol, he's beat 2 of the 3 guys like you, Errol, and Keith.
Yeah.
But it's like I get it. Maybe Manny was more aggressive, wanted to kind of push himself a little more towards the end of his career, but like Floyd didn't have to.
Yeah.
But Floyd didn't have those Jeff Horn nights.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Floyd never had those losses. He
Right,
got
right.
0 losses.
That's why he here. That was
Because
good.
it's just like Floyd, like maybe he didn't test himself against these guys, but he never lost. So it's like
he was great every time.
I tell you what, if he goes on to beat Earl, then tax Shawn, then tax Crawford.
Hold on.
Ooh, wait.
Don't just throw me in there like that. He ain't taxing me.
Let me just say this. That would be one of the craziest. That would be one of the craziest runs in boxing history.
And then
maybe the greatest. I know.
I think that would.
That'll be tough.
He ain't taxing me.
I know.
Alright,
but I to get under your skin.
but if
I gotta keep saying it because
But if like 47.
now I'm buying into. Yeah, that could be a.
That'll be a hell of a run.
If that dude's almost 50, and he runs through like Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Shawn Porter, Buck Crawford. He's
Hey Carson,
all
that
time.
messes up the whole welterweight.
Oh, the whole thing.
Hey, whatever, I'll beat all of them.
He'd have four WBA belts at that point. He went through
chill
that
out,
whole
man.
thing.
Chill
but-
out, man.
I hadn't thought about this until it came up in the rehearsal that we did, and Keith said something that I thought made a lot of sense. He says they asked, "Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for the man in your era? Or are you rooting for the guy that's not in your era?" And Keith, I thought, said it perfectly. He said, "I'm rooting for Errol Spence." He said, there has to be somebody in this era that beats the era before us.
Yeah.
Right.
He said, if not, we can't say that we had the best era. And when I looked at that, I was like, before you said that, I really wasn't rooting for anybody. But Now, you know, I kind of want there to be that period on the era of Manny Pacquiao and Cotto and Mayweather.
No, I'm happy you brought that up because, you know, talking with, you know, someone you guys know, a guy I really respect in boxing, he brought up a good point, which is, you know, we're going to find out a lot about your era in this fight.
Yeah.
And perhaps it'll reflect poorly.
Yeah.
If Pacquiao can win the fight or even in some people's eyes, if he can almost win the fight, it won't look too good that a guy who's had over 70 fights and is 42 years old, Spence along with Crawford is the best of what we got of this era. And, you know, Shawn's right there with them and Keith. But so if he can, you know, even though Manny's got a lot of juice left and he's still dangerous, he's still Pacquiao, if he can pass his prime, you know, go toe-to-toe with the best of today.
He's past his prime. That's not disrespectful to say. That's scientifically he's past his prime.
He's past his prime like Duran was when he beat up Iran Barkley and Davey Moore. You know, he's still got a lot to give. Sure. Yeah. But I'm happy that Keith said that.
Yeah. I it's a conversation I didn't even think about or expect to have, but when it was brought up and Keith said what he said, I was like, I agree with that 100%. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I really don't. Before that conversation, didn't care who won, but now, like you said, I think that it does kind of blemish or leave a little dark area on this era of welterweights.
And it's only a few greats that can actually do that, be past their prime and compete with the likes of Shawn, Earl, and Thurman.
Yeah.
Like Berto, obviously he passed his prime. He can't. Only Floyd and Pacquiao.
I believe
Bernard
Floyd
Hopkins.
can do it. I believe Floyd can do it. You know, in this division, you know, this is the toughest division in boxing. For sure. You got to be everything in the welterweight division, which is why I'm glad that I'm here, and I love that the welterweight division has talent. It's got every component that comes into boxing. The power of the heavyweights, the speed of the lightweights, and everything in between. Yeah. And so with that being said, I really do think that Floyd could still contend with the best fighters out there in the world, especially when you see what Manny's still doing. Yeah. I think that Floyd's got it in him. It's just, you know, it's up to him to, you know, decide whether or not.
And at 147, you got to be great for 12 rounds because y'all all are at y'all elite. And y'all don't take we don't take a round off. Yeah. Ain't no rounds off.
Don't take no rounds
in that division, there's rarely do you watch a welterweight fight and you're like, that was boring. Like if it goes 12, you're like, because you can't, like you said.
I mean, Danny Earl.
That's fair.
Stop.
But it's like there's not.
It was boring. You got tapped.
Let him see.
Well, no, because like even you said, so you have in welterweight the speed of the lightweights and the power of the heavyweights, but also if you look at the flip side, you don't have the lack of power at some of those lighter weights, and you don't have like the leaning and the inactivity of the heavier weights. So it is kind of there on both ends.
I don't know what part of this we're gonna get into the Kings, the documentary on Showtime about.
I mean, we can't. Let's touch on this.
Well, I'm
on Fox. Go ahead.
I'm saying that to say because eventually we're gonna get into it, but they had a power that.
I mean,
so you've been getting on me about my power for a minute, right? And so it took me watching that for me to sit back and be like,
damn, I really don't know.
I was like, yeah, this is.
I mean, they could throw in murderous intentions. Yeah, you could see the damn knuckles coming through the glove. One of them almost
was literally hands of stone. So I mean, that's tough to kind of work around.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ant. Follow me on IG with 2 T's. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then tell them, and then you tell them what to do. I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson A. Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.